What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Travis. Of course, this is TWA Motorsports, and today got a little bit of maintenance stuff on the Formula. So I've been driving this thing. My son's been driving this thing. And when I first got it, I think I told you guys some of the issues that I had. It was low on oil. The other thing, it was the oil light was staying on, but the AC was not working. So I sent the guy a message and he said that, oh yeah, the compressor's locked up. Well, I actually noticed when I took it down to a buddy's shop that there was no belt on it. And we filled it up, put a belt on it, and guys, it worked for like probably a week. And now we're back to it not working. So he did put some dye in it. The dye is saying that the compressor is bad. There's a huge leak on the back side of the compressor, and it's not where the line set comes in. So at this point, I think the only good thing to do is replace it. So we got some new parts here. I actually ordered a kit. I will list it down in the description below, guys. It's from GPD. It comes with all the parts that you see right here. We're gonna be replacing, I think that's the Drier, the little reed here, if we can find that. I don't remember what it's actually called. Guys, I'm not an AC guy. All new gaskets for when you take the lines loose. Any line that you take loose, you would want to put a new gasket in. But I did also notice, look at this thing, pretty loose here. So I know that we've got probably some issues somewhere. But either way, I want to get this stuff off. And so I think how we're going to start is we're going to obviously have to loosen this line. So we'll start up top and work our way down to the bottom. It's going to be kind of tight trying to show you guys this. That's why I got it up on my race ramps, which, guys, if you don't have a set of race ramps, you need them. I use those things all the time with my these are actually the trailer ones, but I use them for stuff like this where cars are really low. I'll list those in the description as well. But let's get started. I'm going to go grab a 13 millimeter. We're going to get this line off. Now, guys, I don't believe it has anything in it. I'm going to crack this line loose. And then we'll go to this guy, get this thing out of the way, and then we'll move to the bottom of the car, seeing what we need to take out next. It does have a little bit left in it, not much. I didn't have him evacuate it, but a 13 millimeter is what we need to take this loose. So I got that loose. Now I'm gonna go get, it looks like a 10 millimeter on this guy here. We need to get this line loose as well. Probably going to unhook the battery also, since we're going to be dealing with a few electronics, not much, but there is a line that connects down at the bottom. That is a 10 millimeter. So since this is hooked to nothing apparently, we're going to go ahead and get these lines loose. Yeah, there was hardly any in it. Otherwise we'd get a big spew right now. You can see where these washers go. I'm gonna leave that in place until we're ready to go back together, but keep your bolts handy. And this is gonna be a tight fit, I just know it, guys. It's pretty crammed in here. So got this guy out. There's also one of those washers or seals up against the firewall there, so we'll be replacing that as well. I actually think, since both the cars that I have been working on have tubular K-members, not a lot of room here, guys, but on the back side of the compressor, you can see this line that runs right here. There's actually two lines that run there, and there's a 13 millimeter in the back, and you have like next to no room here. But we're gonna get the 13 loose. I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to do it with that. I may have to put an extension on the bottom and try to reach up and get it. Whew, there is like no room there, guys. Let's get to, I don't know. I'll tell you what, let's do. Let's take the two 15s loose up top. So you don't have to take the bracket loose, or at least I don't think we're gonna have to. There's a 15 millimeter here, and then you can barely see this 15 in the middle of these two hoses. Let's go ahead and get those cracked loose. You can't get this 15 out without getting the line set off. So let's go ahead and at least loosen them up with a 15 millimeter, and then we'll get underneath and see what kind of room we have. Well, guys, actually was able to get that 15 out. I got both of them out, actually. They're sitting here on the battery without the lines being off, so that's good. So now the top side of the compressor is loose, but still got to get the belt off, still got to get that line set off, and I think I have a 13 for my 1/4 inch drive. I might be able to get back there. I'm gonna try that real quick, just a short 13, and see if I can get enough swing on it to get that thing loose. Because once you get it loose, you can almost thread it out by hand, but I'm gonna give that a shot real quick before I get underneath it. So no such luck on the top side. So here we are on the bottom. You can see all the oil leaking off the back side of that compressor. Definitely needs replaced, but we're gonna take a 15 right here on the belt. See the tensioner right there. We're gonna take a 15 millimeter and we're gonna get the belt out of place. And then I'm gonna take a small pick, guys, and I don't know if you guys can see it. Hopefully you can. On the side of the compressor right there, you have an electrical connection. I'm gonna take a small pick and get that loose. And I definitely think you have enough room down here to get the 13 loose on the back. I could swing my wrench over there, I just couldn't get any leverage on it. So we're gonna do that. All 3 of those things, see if we can get the lines loose at least before we go pulling the other 2 15s that hold it in place. Couple things to take note of here. You can see I've got my plug undone. I also was able to get back there, get the 13 out of the lines that come into the rear of this thing. But I got to thinking, you're really supposed to take the upper belt, the main drive belt off before you take that out. But you can see that as of right now, I've left it in place and just moved that over. So now we have everything loose other than those bottom 2 15s. Now, here's what I'm thinking. Will it come out of that spot? I don't know. I think it probably will. No way with the lines on it, would it? But if we leave the lines where they're at and try to fish it in between the steering rack and the actual sway bar, but if not, so if it won't come out, you guys will, that'll be the next thing you see, is it out on the ground, if it will. But if not, we're gonna have to take the sway bar off. I don't see any other way around it if it won't come out. But all we have left are those 2 15s in the bottom. There you have it. It will come out without moving the sway bar. So how I did it, if you push the front of it forward, so where the pulley is, where the belt rides, push it forward towards the front of the car. And then once you do that, you can bring the back up and it comes straight out. It's really close, but it will come out with the sway bar in place. And honestly, guys, if you wanted a little more room, there's only 2 15 millimeters on each side. I think just relaxing the sway bar might give you some additional room, but if you have stock sway bars, I don't know if you've got some really thick ones if it'll come out, but we did get it out. And so I'm gonna get this out of the package. We're gonna take a look at what we've got. It is a brand new unit. It's not a reconditioned one. And it's not the most expensive thing. It's actually somewhat affordable. I think I paid maybe a little over $200 for all the parts that you see here. But let's get this thing out of the box and we'll put them side by side and take a look at them. So just visually side by side, they really look identical, guys. This comes with a cap on the back of it. And it says in the instructions here, there's like 3 different sheets that you need to verify the oil level. One of the reasons I bought this one is because it comes pre-filled. It's sealed off in that bag. There was nothing leaking around it. So the amount of oil that it needs is actually in it. And the way we drug it out, we shouldn't dump anything because remember, like I said, we pushed the front of it forward and then we lifted the back and came out down. So that's the same way we're gonna go back in. We're gonna push this up through first and then back into where it goes. So we shouldn't leak anything out. I don't think there's a ton, and I'm not even sure that it comes out in that area anyway. So either way, let's get whatever it is we're gonna need. I don't know what size this is. It's not 15, I'm sure it's standard. And get that off so we have basically identical pieces here. You can see one of my O-rings stuck in place there. And not only did I get a whole pack of O-rings, but the compressor at the bottom of the box came with 2 new ones as well, one for here and here. However, we will put those on the lines. We're not gonna put those in like this. That's not really the way I'd wanna do it. Well, because it's really tight quarters, I wanted to show you guys a couple things I noticed. One, I took this off and I put it back in place just for now loosely, just to keep any oil from accidentally spilling out. You'd really have to get crazy with it because the way it goes in, you check your oil on this side with this. This is supposed to be pre-filled for my application, so I am not going to check it. The instructions say to check it. I'm not going to. Because I've it literally said on the package, I think it's just generic instructions that come with all of them, but in the package it said pre-filled with oil, do not remove plugs. So it's kind of contradicting, but either way, because I'm like got tight quarters down here, I'm gonna go ahead and put these two new rubber washer slash gasket slash seals on the line that's under the car. Remember the one that screws into the back here? I'm gonna do that, and then they'll be in place, and when I get this up into place, then I will take this out, and we're gonna have to do this blindly. I'm gonna have to insert the lines into the compressor without being able to see what's going on. I'll probably at least get the two bottom ones started, but I'll let you guys know how it goes. Like I said, I don't have a ton of room here. I really need to probably jack it up a little bit more. It's really close with me on my creeper here, but let's get this new one up into place. Same situation, guys. We're gonna feed it up with the bottom up and kind of back into the hole that it goes in. So I got that thing up in there. You can see it. Obviously we're on the top, but I started the 2 bolts in the top. I started the 2 bolts in the bottom. So at this point, I'm gonna start to snug those down a little bit more. I just wanted, it seemed like the bottom ones are cross-threading without the top ones in. So you really kind of got to hold it up while you're starting those bolts. You don't want them to cross-thread. That is absolutely not something that you want. So we've got it in there. I just need to snug those down. The other thing I did was I released the tension here on this plug. You can see that goes to the water pump because I didn't have enough room to plug in our electronics. So now I should have a little more room to pull that down there and plug it in. Then we'll obviously put it back in the clip here in a minute, but I'll show you guys underneath. I didn't spill any oil, at least none came out. I left the little rubber piece on that was underneath that metal bracket. I did leave it on. So now I've got to pull it back off and see if we can get the 13 millimeter started. That's the 13 right there that goes in the back through the lines. And I can actually thread that 13 through the top and probably get it started from the top. But as far as tightening it, I'm probably gonna have to do that from the bottom. So guys, I've got all the bolts in and I'm snug down. They need to be torqued to about 37 foot-pounds. I also was able to get, I had to tweak the lines a little bit to get them to line up. And like I said, you're kind of doing that by feel. So I got those in place and the 13 started in it pretty snug. I'm gonna torque, I don't even know, I can't get a torque wrench in there, so I'm just gonna snug it down. You could see, or maybe you can't see, my ratchet end still setting back there. I also got it plugged back in. So since I've got everything plugged in, I'm gonna go ahead and put the belt back on, put the 15 back up here, get the belt lined up, and then we can worry about snugging that line down that goes into the, well, the lines in the back, essentially. And like I said, I'm just gonna snug that down, got the plug plugged in, got it back in the holder up top. I also noticed I have a random plug right here, which I'm pretty sure goes into the radiator that's unplugged. Don't know what that's about. So I'm gonna plug that in while I'm down here and then we'll go back up top. Now that we got everything tightened up down below, we're gonna go ahead and take this off and see. That other piece that I got, guys, is an Orifice tube. I don't know why I couldn't think of that earlier, but like I said, I don't do a lot of AC work, so that's probably why. I'm gonna see if it's behind, it should be back here. I'm gonna put this up top here, and then I'm gonna go ahead and crack the line loose here. Of course, it's a 10, 13 on this side, and a 10 on the other. I'm also gonna unplug the low pressure switch, I believe is what it's called. We'll unplug that for a minute, but we're gonna get the 10 out and see if we can get that line off and have access to that new Orifice tube. You don't necessarily have to replace this, but since the kit came with it, I figured might as well replace that and the gaskets that came with it. I'm also gonna leave if the gaskets come off on the lines, I'm gonna leave them. You can, I don't know if you guys can see, but the O-ring slash gasket, whatever you wanna call it, still on there, and it looks pretty rough actually. So let's get this guy out and see. I don't even see an Orifice tube there unless it slides in on this, and it does. It's right here. I'm gonna go grab a pair of needle nose pliers. We'll pull it out of there. See if we can get this thing out of here. I have honestly, guys, oh my gosh, look at the metal in there. That's not a good sign. So let's go grab our other one. I'm gonna clean off the outside of this and we'll slide the new one in. So I clean this off like I said. We're gonna push this new one in place. It should only go in one way, just like the other one came out. It was kind of at an angle, as you can see. And there we go. Got it in there. So at this point, I'm going to go match up what fits this. So we'll go get our O-rings and match up kind of what goes where. There's a whole mess of them. So you should have enough to do what you've got to do. I'm gonna have to cut these open, but look how many they send. I can't even fathom there's that many in the system, but I guess there is. Now in order to get these off, I'm just using a pick and a flat blade screwdriver. That one is wrecked. Once I get it off there, I'm cleaning up the end. And then we need to match that up with one that's in this kit. And I really wish that I had a spot. Maybe we can make a spot here on the battery to kind of lay them out. There we go. You guys can hear my phone going crazy over there. There we go. That's perfect. We'll put the old one there, put the new one on. And then we need to do the same thing, except on this other one, so the other side of that one, it is on the firewall. So we'll get this guy off here. It actually looks pretty close to the same size. That one works. That cleaned off, put the new one on, and then I'm going to go ahead and put this tube back in place. See if we can feed it back through here. I don't want to get really aggressive with it. Just want to be careful. And then we'll get our 10mm back in and started. I just want to get them started, guys. We'll come back and tighten them up in a minute, but since there's so many of these that we've got out, they are all a little bit different. Although 13's up on the firewall, and 10's down here on the condenser. I'm just hoping that I made the right decision not buying a condenser with seeing that metal in that orifice tube, but maybe it caught it. We won't have an issue. So I won't show you guys any more of this. I'm gonna replace this one here and the other one on this tube. And the next thing you guys will see will be me putting the new Drier on. And it comes, I guess it won't take me that long. It comes shipped with a new it comes shipped with closeouts on it so it doesn't get any moisture in it. So let's go grab it actually and put it on. When I say closeouts, this is what I'm talking about, just to keep, if you get moisture in this, you're toast. So I'm gonna try not to sweat on it. See if we can grab our screw for that. Remember, 13 millimeter up here, 10 on the other end. And I noticed that this one's a little bit different. It's got a stud on it. The one that we took out is not like that. It's actually a bolt. See that? So what I will do is I'm gonna grab a pair of vice grips and we'll take this out because it's just a stud, and put the actual bolt in that came out of the other one. Got the stud screwed out here. That's a good place for it, right there where I dropped it. Oh man, that's been my luck today, guys. Anyway, let's get this one in. Get our 10 millimeter. And I'm gonna snug these down. I'm sure there's probably a torque spec, guys. I do not know it. I don't think it's much since everything is aluminum, but make sure that you plug in your pressure switch here. I'm gonna go ahead and get it plugged in. And I gotta plug that in, whatever came unplugged on my radiator. I don't know what that's all about. Got that plugged in. All right, so like I said, I'm just gonna snug these down. The only other thing we need to snug down before we go get it filled is, remember this thing kind of walks around. There's actually a clamp that holds it in place. I don't know why it was undone, but it was. I'm assuming somebody was probably messing with the AC on this at some point and just never got it hooked back up. I'm gonna get these lines in the holders they go in too. But don't over tighten here. Like I said, it is aluminum. You don't want to strip it. And you can always see when you go to get it filled, you know, if we have a leak, like we'll be able to hear it in those areas. So at this point, guys, I've got my buddy, I just sent him a text and said, hey, can you fill an AC unit for me today? I do not have AC gauges, nor do I want to set. I understand a little bit of how they work, but I don't want to mess with that. So I'm going to keep these because we may use these down the road on other projects. But let's go get it filled, and I'll bring it back and let you guys know kind of how things went. Well, guys, we are back from getting it filled up, and I drove home with the windows up. 95 degrees outside. It is working. It held quite a bit of vacuum. You know, only time will tell. Will it bleed back off? I don't know. We'll just have to, I'll update you guys and let you know. But, you know, not too hard of a job. Would I rather done it on the lift? Yes, but obviously my son's car is torn apart on the lift. As you can see over to the left, we still got stuff torn apart on the truck, which I don't know when this video will post, before or after the truck. We have some of this stuff back in, but either way, we got it accomplished. And we did find a new problem. You guys remember me saying when I was under there, something was unplugged on the radiator. Well, on that radiator, it's a low, basically it tells you if your radiator's low. It's like low coolant. When I plugged it in, my low coolant light came on. So now I know I was unplugged. Starting to find out some more nuggets of info as we drive this car. Obviously it's not, you know, it's a good car, but there's definitely some little things that we need to fix. I do have a window tinting appointment coming up really soon. Hopefully you guys will get to see this thing with the windows tinted. I'm getting ready to check the tire pressures, but guys, I have been through about 3 shirts out here now. I've got to, at some point, get some AC in this shop. But either way, we did get it accomplished. So if you guys did enjoy this video, please, like always, smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are not subscribed, go down there, hit that subscribe button. Of course, ring the bell icon that notifies you every time we drop a new video. And stay tuned to see what we work on next.